Welcome to another episode of Wild Rover Sailing. This week's video is made especially for those who love watching time-lapse progress videos. In this one, I'll be preparing the boat bottom and applying a fresh coat of antifouling paint. Step 1 is to clean the hull. This is basically just washing it down with water and giving it a really light rubbing with a bit of an abrasive pad. This would clean off anything that was left behind from last year's pressure washing. Next comes the enjoyable step of applying masking tape to the boot stripe. I like the blue tape. It's easier to remove after baking in the sun for a few days. Once applied, I rub the tape aggressively with a rag to set it in place. This prevents the paint from seeping under the tape. Now the fun begins. Applying the anti-fouling paint. This would be my second year using Interlux Micron CSC. I had been using Interlux VC17 for years. It provided a fine finish and a fast bottom, but it was expensive and required a fresh application each spring. And at $90 a can, it was becoming really expensive. But now VC17 is unavailable in Canada. This meant I had to do a full bottom strip before I could apply the alternate paint. I applied 2 liters of sharp gray Micron to the bottom and was reasonably happy with its performance. There's still some marine growth, but it kept the zebra mussels at bay. It still required some pretty aggressive pressure washing at the end of the season. And wouldn't you know it, shark gray color became unavailable in Canada as well, or at least at my local chandlery. So I had to change color. I had never been much of a fan of blue-bottomed boats, but as I applied this paint, I was pretty pleased with how it looked. Micron is a pretty aggressive solvent, and it was destroying the foam rollers I was using. The job was becoming tedious as the rollers fell apart, And then I ran out of rollers. The second coat was going to have to wait. Okay, so I put a second coat on up to about here. And then I had to stop because my roller was disintegrating. I went through 2. I need to buy more, so I'll pick it up tomorrow and do a second coat on the remainder. So, just for fun. Yeah, that looks pretty good, and the orange peel's not too bad, even though I didn't tip it. I think I can live with that. And this is still wet, so it may still flow a little bit. But here's a lesson. See, vinyl gloves and pretty much any product you use on a sailboat, they're not good. It eats right through the vinyl. I think even epoxy may not be good. You got limited time, so it's a good idea to buy nitrile gloves and not frickin' vinyl ones. But that's all I could get. Next, it was time to deal with the topsides. The gel coat had become fairly oxidized over the last couple of years. It was going to take some aggressive work to take care of this. I found a Simonize oxidization stripper at Canadian Tire and gave it a try, and I was surprised at how well it worked. So, armed with my trusty high-speed buffer, I began the tedious job of making the hull shine. Originally, when I had bought the boat, I wet sanded the gel coat with 1000 grit paper, which produced a pretty nice shine. After stripping the oxidized surface, it comes out pretty good.